The trend is moving back to the very, very complicated titles to the much simpler titles.
The thing I liked about your old title had AI in it twice. It was Max AI. Welcome to Cloud Realities, an original podcast from Capgemini, and this week co-sponsored by Microsoft. We are at Ignite 2025 here at the Moscone Center in rainy San Francisco. I'm Dave Chapman.
I'm Esmee van der Giesen.
And I'm Rob Kernahan.
And I'm delighted to say for this last episode, we have got a reappearance of Yina Arenas, who's the CVP of Microsoft Foundry at Microsoft. We saw you last time in Chicago, Yina. How are you a year later?
Hello, folks. I am doing fantastic today. It's been awesome to be part of the conference, and I'm so energized by just seeing the reception of customers of all of the things that we have announced.
Brilliant. Well, it is wonderful to see you back, and looking forward to digging into your area, right at the heart of the conversation, that's for sure.
Yes, we are right at the center.
Brilliant. Well, look, come back to that in a second. In the meantime, Robert's here.
Hello. Still here.
It's been a couple of hours since we recorded episode 5 of the week. Rob, you spilt anything?
No, I've not thrown food or drink over myself yet.
Things are looking up.
Well, there's still a bit of time to go.
Still get lunch in a bit, so, you know.
Another opportunity to ruin a pair of trousers.
Esmee, how are you?
I'm doing good, yeah.
Last record?
Yeah, let's record. Yeah. I could do another one, though, which is a good sign.
We'll get.
You've got enough in you for the tag.
Rob and I are heading off. I know you're flying back tomorrow.
You feel free.
Good luck.
Who knows?
Add another couple of extra
I'm just going to walk around and see who wants to talk to me.
You could do just like a big 3-hour monologue.
I'm going to say I have a vacancy for host position and then see what happens.
We could do it as an interview process. Just replace me and Dave.
I mean, it's quite straightforward, to be honest with you.
Probably desirable as well.
Cloud in one hand and some other AI assistant in the other hand, and you've got it covered, haven't you?
In fact, use Foundry, knock up a podcast agent, and just talk to them. Probably be more interested as well.
Certainly more knowledgeable. But look, the three of us will be back after we talk to Yina. We're going to just sum up the show, who we've talked to, the sort of threads that we've picked out. We're also going to talk about our favourite or least favourite films that we think are now reflecting the fact or the fiction of where we're up to as an industry. So hang about if you want to hear about that stuff, and we might also share with you our favourite restaurants of the week. So join us at the end of the show for that. But in the meantime, Yina, why don't we kick off with, tell us a little bit about the evolution of Foundry over the course of the last year. What's that journey been like?
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, Microsoft Foundry is the platform that offers developers the ability to infuse AI into every single application. And a couple of years ago, I feel like we're living in dog years, where like every single day, like there's so much advancement.
Right.
But you are literally setting that pace. So you're the responsible person.
If you could just slow down a bit.
If you just slow
every
down
single day is like a year or more.
Why don't if you just throttle it all a little bit, we can all take a bit of time off.
Pause.
Yeah. Just engineer a bit of a delay in your hectic.
Alistair on earlier, he used to work in the office team, and he said the release cycle's every 3 years.
Oh my gosh, that feels like 20 years ago.
I think it probably was.
Now it's like every single day.
I used to love
multiple times.
I said in that thing, I used to love a 3-year cycle. A year to think about it, a year to do something, a year to sort of,
take a break. Fix it.
Anyway, sorry, you're good.
Yeah, so Foundry, right? And we started a bit, maybe like a couple of years back. And the product is now at a year old.
Right.
But where it all started was with the magic moment with ChatGPT, and how do we enable models to be accessible to developers to build their own solutions, right? And a lot of where those solutions started is a web version, some other internal version of ChatGPT or a chatbot, and quickly evolved into, it's not just a prompt following system, right? The models have advanced tremendously. And now we can create, and it's the buzzword, we can create agents that are leveraging these models and then leveraging the capability of the models to make function calls to interact with systems, to ground with data, and to completely transform business processes, right? So now it's not just like I can go and have a conversation with an agent or with a chatbot that is going to tell me some really interesting information, but I can use this technology to rebuild workflows, to rebuild business processes, to really transform automation in a way that we haven't been able over the last 50 years, because we've been working on automation for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
But what happened is that, every time that you wrote a script and the workflow changed a little bit, you were stuck in fixing scripts and not being able to, it's a very painful process. But now you have these models that can adapt, right? That can learn, that can reason. And that is really game changing. So over the last year, we've really harnessed that into a platform for developers, because in order to build these solutions, developer needs more than just a model, right? They need the ability to really integrate models, tools, knowledge, observability, evaluations, monitoring, that end-to-end life cycle across. I have an idea, I prototype it, I build it, I deploy it, take it to production, I operate it, and I continuously improve it over time. And that's what Foundry offers for our customers.
Right. And what's your sense of customer readiness for the sort of complexity that you described?
Yeah.
Are customers generally, in your experience yet, are they at a point where they're going to be starting to scale and democratize the development in the way you describe? Or are we still slightly before that level of adoption, do you think?
I think there's a little bit of all over the place. We have customers that are in the leading edge of, bringing agentic AI into their organizations. A lot of them started into how do they drive some efficiencies into some processes. We are seeing a lot more of how do they harness AI to now generate new value for them, right? And that's really interesting to see, and across large enterprises, small companies as well. And, we have customers like BMW, Harvey AI, that are transforming their industries with that. We have customers like even Capgemini. I actually had a meeting with your VP of AI yesterday, and we were having a really good conversation about what are the work that you guys are doing for customers. So we have a lot of different examples of customers that are in the bleeding edge of adopting technology and leveraging that. And we also have a lot of customers that are in the what do we do with this?
Right. Yeah.
How do we start?
How do you apply it?
The C-suite is asking us to just sprinkle pixie dust and make AI do everything and coffee for us. And we don't know where to start. I think that there's a wide variety.
Yeah.
Of maturity across the industry.
And how did you, because that's such a big spectrum, I would imagine, how do you narrow down what you were going to prioritize your dev on over the course of the last year, leading to the announcements that you've made this week?
Oh, that's a really great question. We try to balance. A lot of our customer base, Microsoft's customer base, is among the enterprise, right? So we definitely want to make sure that we have the right set of product offerings that help and enterprises along the journey of adopting AI and really being able to transform their businesses with AI. So we do invest a lot of effort. Even there's a lot more to do on enterprise adoption,
course,
right?
Yeah.
We do invest a lot of effort to make sure that our customers find in our products all of the expectations that they have in order to be able to really build with this technology solutions for their organization. So things like fully integrating into the identity system, things like being able to assign permissions to agents, things like being able to observe them and monitoring on their time and do auditing and set data labels on the data that is being accessed, respect data labels on the data that is being accessed by agents. All of those are features that are mostly enterprises are going to deeply care about, right?
Right.
And then on the other side, we have a large amount of customers that are digital natives, that are, the AI startups that want to go really, really fast and want to make sure that the moment that a model is out, that they have the opportunity to use that model at scale, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things that my team does is like taking like you have a great partnership with OpenAI, and we serve OpenAI models in our Azure OpenAI service. And we, over the last, year, we've gone from, maybe the model was released and maybe a few weeks later we had the model in our product, to we have the model at the same day, same time for our customers, right? Like, so it's a little bit of a balance of both, of like, serving our customers that are like ready to adopt the moment that it gets out, to like, building features and capabilities that
are going to be foundational
for our enterprise crowd.
And when you're thinking about that, you're getting it the same day. There's a lot of work that has to go into the product so that it's reliable, it's stable. It allows you to be able to do that without causing issue or harm to the quality of the service you're delivering. I think sometimes we forget the amount of work that has to go in to allow those types of things to become true, the same day releases and such.
Absolutely. I mean, hats off to my engineering team, because like the amount of work that we've done to accelerate the pace over the last year has been tremendous. And you're right, it's like it cannot come at the compromise of the quality, the reliability of the service, right? Like, so we need to make sure that like we can scale it and deliver the functionality that our customers expect. And not only we just serve the model, but like, you bring it across the Azure footprint. Yeah. So like regional availability, global availability, and like being able to like serve that model in our stack, in our technology. And that is a lot of
all those data centers all have to get the capability as to
how do you make sure that your team is able to keep up with this pace and they don't burn out and that they're still happy?
I will say that there's a lot of intensity in the air. This is the time definitely where we're doing the best work in our careers, and people feel it, right? And they're energized by it. And there's also, we are constantly changing the way we work, right? Like if I think about a year back, like, and how I work now and like how I used to do it a year back, it's constantly evolving, right? Like we need to figure out how do we leverage the technology to also supercharge ourselves, right? So, even my team, maybe a year back, we were more on like, we'll write the specs and like, we'll do the cycles with customers after like we have a really bottom-up spec. Now it's like we have short circuit all of that because we use GitHub Copilot, we use Spark, we generate prototypes, and like we're able to like what used to take, weeks, we're able to do it in days, right? So, and I think it's a combination of that, of like how.
So has that left more time for thought? And I don't mean relaxation in the sense of like, let's just take the next week off. I mean, meaning more space for deeper work, for want of a better expression, or is it meant actually we're just going to try and do more within the same period of time?
I think it's a little bit more on the latter. Like the industry is moving incredibly fast.
It really is.
So we are doing way more in a shorter period of time that we would have done in years back.
Right. Yeah. Now, one of the things you mentioned just now that I was interested to dig into the philosophy of a little bit with you is the notion of release of models and getting third-party models available in the Foundry, and that infers an open ecosystem. E.g., you've gone with the right model to build the best product. That's the way we're going to go. Versus what could have been a closed ecosystem model. What was your thinking on that, and how did you arrive at getting to that position?
Yeah. So our philosophy is we want our customers to have the best choice of the technology for the use case, right? Models are incredibly evolving every single day, and it's not like there's a one wins all in terms of models, because the use cases are super varied. And not only we have the largest selection of models across the ecosystem, we have over 11,000 models for our customers to choose from, not just large language models, but also small language models, and also models that are not language based at all, right? Like, time series models and forecasting models and all of these different type of models that are very important for certain scenarios, right? And then we have, really great partnerships with model providers across OpenAI, Mistral, NVIDIA, Meta, all of these, Cohere, all of these providers that are really innovating in the market. And we just announced our partnership with Anthropic.
Yep.
So we have now the Anthropic models, Cloud, Sonnet, Haiku in Foundry, available for our developers.
Give us a bit of what happened behind the scenes. When did the conversation start? How did you get there?
Yeah, it's been in the works for a little bit. It's been in the works for a little bit, and it was a very dynamic, very intense leading into enabling the models in our product.
Right.
And we're super happy. The Anthropic team is fantastic to work with. So we love the partnership that we've been able to build with them, and we are looking forward. We already had lots of customers asking when, because we've integrated the Anthropic models in some of our products before, right? So GitHub Copilot already had access to Claude. Microsoft 365 the Microsoft 365 Copilot already had access to some of the Anthropic models. So there was already momentum on customers. It's okay, when is it coming to Foundry? And that's one of the good news from this week.
Brilliant. What are the other big announcements you put out this week that are sort of sticking out for you or feeling like I'm really glad we accomplished that one?
Oh man, I have a long list of announcements. On the model space, of course, Anthropic, as I just mentioned.
Yeah.
We also have new priority processing for our model serving. We have new capabilities about model routing. We were just having the discussion about picking the best model, right? With all of these model offering, how do you know what's the best for your use case? And so we have this offer that is called the model router. You have an ensemble of models underneath, and the model router analyzes the prompt and sends it to the most effective model, right? So the cheapest model, if you have a simple call, it will send it to a mini or a nano model. If you have a very complicated call, it can send it to a reasoning model, right? And we have customers that are seeing, 50% reduction on cost with only 1 or 2 points compromising quality, right? Or we're always using, one of the big models. So this is a really good one. We have on Foundry Local, which is our ability to run models on the edge.
Okay.
We have support for Windows, Mac, and new this week is support for Android as well.
Right.
We already have really great partners that are using that to bring LLM power experiences to Android devices, which is the number one provider of phones in the world. So that another one. On the agent side, we have capabilities to host agents. So a lot of customers have started building agents with LandGraph, right? And then they had to manage all of the containers, where they were going to deploy them and scale them and all of that. You can bring them to Foundry, you can host them there. We take care of all of the scaling, and then you can hook up observability and evaluations. So really nice. We also have our own agent framework, which is the evolution of semantic kernel and Autogen come together into an agent framework where you can build multi-agent orchestration and supports capabilities to connecting with all of our products. And so that's really nice. We have multi-agent orchestration capabilities. I mean, it's a long list.
It's a lot.
But let me, I'll highlight one thing, especially because we're at Ignite and for enterprises, which is lots of people are starting to build agents, right? And there's lots of capabilities to build agents at scale. But then the next challenge becomes, how do you manage them, right? How do you make sure that the agents are doing the things that you intended to do?
Yes.
How do you make sure that you can observe them over time, that you can set guardrails, that you can set policies? And that's the capability that we have with Foundry Control Plane.
Well, beautifully pivoted onto that, because I was going to come into the world of guardrails and responsible deployment, because I think what we're seeing is a number of different things at the moment, generally in this space. To your point, there is so much going on. Just your summary of it there was unbelievable. And by the way, as an aside, well done for not picking up on the Android point,
Dave,
Rob.
I was sat here.
I thought he was going to be super smug about it. You literally had to bite your tongue, didn't you?
I like open ecosystems, Android. Apple
Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
and it was lovely that you picked up on the biggest provider of phones and integrated to provide that capability. And I had to
use
I could use all my strength not to say something facetious. As you were in such a good flow, I didn't want to interrupt it. It was like I can't lose.
Knew you'd been triggered. I could feel it. Couldn't
me
you?
too.
I could feel it in the air. I could feel it in the air.
That is part of what we are really being intentional, being open, being modular, and making sure that our customers can, interoperability is a core principle of how we're building Foundry.
Don't give him any more ammunition. It's like he's insufferable enough. But yes, so going back to anyway, so the use of guardrail technology and the monitoring, because where I was going with that was there's a confluence of deep energy around what's going on at the moment. We're sort of learning how to manage these environments and what they're going to do at the same time as we're thinking about how the exploit is going to work. And, I think there was a number this week about 1.3 billion agents in the next couple of years. And that's a sizable number of agents, isn't it? How on earth can we be, responsible human beings in terms of creating something that we're going to understand, be able to observe, to your point, etc.?
Yeah. I think that there's two fronts on that, geared towards different personas in the organization. So, of course, the baseline is we need to be able to understand what the technology is doing, right? Like, so as we're building solutions, AI applications or agents that are using these models that are being grounded on this knowledge basis and using these tools, like there's always an intent behind it, right? And there's always a desire to make sure that intent is met. And like the way to achieve that is to make sure that you can set guardrails, that you can set policies, that then you can set evaluators that are constantly monitoring over what is the solution doing, right? And then the development and then operation and then scaling of this becomes a team sport across the organization. It's not just the developer thinking about this, is the IT admin who's looking at, okay, who are the users in my organization that have access to these agents? What have they granted permissions to? How are they being useful or not? And then it becomes the security operator too, who's saying okay, is the data safe, right? Are there any threat actors that are operating on top of these? Is this a new vector?
The way you describe that is a little bit like the ripple effect of cloud and how that first happened. It's when cloud first launched in most IT departments. It was just one bit of the infrastructure team. And then all of a sudden, through varying iterations, everybody started to realize that the ripple effect was, no, everything changes.
Exactly.
Every role changes, everything changes. I think this is the same ripple effect.
We are in a very similar inflection point, right? We are now redefining how software is going to be built for the next decade. As we were redefined 10, 15 years ago with the cloud, how, we were building and scaling software, right? So absolutely, it's a team sport. It goes beyond just the developer to the IT admin, to the DevOps, to the sec operator, to there's a lot of personas that need to be involved and need to have the tools in order to be able to do this at scale, right? To your point, there's 1.3 billion agents roaming and doing work. So we need to make sure that we have the tools. And Foundry offers those tools for developers, right? So that you can build agents responsibly, that you can build them in a way that what they're going to do, that if there's any reason why they deviate, that you can get alerted, that you can take action and fix it and continuously improve those solutions over time.
And where are you on the sort of agents getting to a sophistication level where they start to create agents to do work and they're starting to be creative as well? So at the moment we have an agent, we deploy it can deal with ambiguity, it's very powerful, but then suddenly maybe agents will get to a point where they're creating agents. It doesn't feel it's that far away and where we might be spawning more?
Yeah, I don't think it's far away. I don't think it's a utopic topic for as much as that's redundant. Yeah, there is the ability for these models to plan and to decompose a problem, right? It's already there, right? And then as part of that plan, you can say hey, I need to spawn up an agent that is doing this specific task. And then then the challenge becomes okay, how do you manage the life cycle of that agent, right? And how do you make sure that upon task completion, the full life cycle is completed and doing the management of that. But I don't think that's too far along.
No, I feel it's just around the corner. It'd be quite sort of where the system's building its own system.
So, that ultimately, must become a setting at some point, right? You're not going to give every agent carte blanche to go and do what it needs to do. Presumably, that's a control setting.
Correct. Right. And that connects to the point that I was saying before around needing the platform that enables you to do that, right? To set those expectations, evaluations, guardrails, so that you can like govern what that agent is going to do, right? And like know that like it's going to behave like that, because sometimes these things like are like teenagers, right? Like you build them and then like you release them in the wild and you don't know what they're going to do.
They roam about.
Yeah, exactly. And do unexpected things.
Or even like Dave, who's still a bit like a teenager, never really grew out of it. So.
Proudly so.
But isn't this like every technology? So you have the tools, and every role is changing. Where do you see in a level of adoption? So the technology is increasing, speed is increasing, but at the same time, our adoption pace seems to be lagging, or what do you see?
I would disagree with that. I think that what we're seeing now is that customers are already over the hump of prototyping and getting to production and getting to scale. Our product has over 80,000 customers that are organizations across different sizes. I mentioned before enterprises, AI startups, digital natives that are building solutions that are at scale today. So I think that the adoption pace is accelerating. I mean, like, fun fact, we are not able, I mean, like right now we are supply constrained, right? Like the demand is so big. We don't have enough chips installed in our data centers today to meet the demand.
Right.
And like we're constantly expanding. And
but
like,
also,
we're still not meeting the demand.
Also on a cultural level and teams being able to end-to-end do lifecycle management and have full responsibility and autonomy, you also see that increasing?
Absolutely. I mean, like leveraging the tools that we have now. Again, it's continuously evolving, right? Like, and the needs are also evolving, and like the products are evolving very, very fast, right? But we have a track record of working on responsible AI for more than a decade. And we're bringing all of that know-how into our products in a way that like it provides these harnesses for developers today, right? And they are taking advantage of that. So yeah, it is. Now, is it fully there? Are we completely covered across the entire potential target addressable market? No. But like it is the pace at which it is growing, it is outstanding.
I want to maybe just bring our conversation to a bit of a close. Just get your, for somebody who's right in the middle of the evolution of this technology in the industry, get you sort of your take on like how you view an agent.
Yeah.
And one of the debates we have on the show, and we've talked about it to some of your colleagues this week, is, and I can never say this word, but the anthropomorphization.
Yes, I cannot say it either. I'm glad you're a native speaker.
Yeah.
I am not a native speaker. I was thinking about that. Yeah.
Doesn't get any easier.
P, and you always miss the P out.
Do it.
Oh
Anthropomorphization.
my God. No.
I mean, it didn't make it sound great, did he?
Let's all repeat it. No.
I think he had an extra vowel in there somewhere. That word, whatever that word is.
Yeah.
Do you see them as these kind of, you use the term as you went along, like little teenagers, or, kind of we imbue them with these characters versus bits of code that we need to manage?
Yeah, I think they're a tool. And AI is another tool in our toolbox, a very, very powerful tool.
Yeah.
And it's not unique, because like now we see people that like go into the extremes, right? Like, so how do I sprinkle AI in everything? Yeah. And like, that's not necessarily the answer, right? Like the answer is like, what is the challenge, and like what are the set of like pieces of tools that you use to solve for a specific problem? I'm not going to try to attempt to repeat that word because I'm not able to pronounce it.
Well, Esmee, why don't you have a crack at it?
No, I'm not even going. No, I'm also not native. It's not fair.
It doesn't get easy when you're native. It's a tricky one.
You know what?
You did well there.
Sometimes non-native speakers speak better English than a lot of people than who are native speakers. I'll be honest.
Certainly in some of us, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Sorry, anyway.
Yeah.
Keep going.
So to me, it is a tool.
Yeah.
It is a tool that we can use to solve problems, to increase the pace of innovation, increase the pace of creativity, to amplify capabilities. I don't subscribe to the whole like thinking of it with like human capabilities or things like that.
Yes,
No, to me, it's a tool that we should use to amplify and to supercharge how we work, and that's it.
Well, I think that's a very good, pragmatic and helpful way to bring our conversation to a bit of a close. But before you go, we've been asking all of your colleagues about the intersection of fact and fiction this week.
Yeah.
And, Hollywood has been making films about our industry for years, started with things like war games and various different things. And we've seen tech industry represented good and bad. And we're at a point where we're at a real life conference here, and it feels more sci-fi than a lot of the films. So, like, are there any films that resonate with you in a good way or a bad way? How about how it represents the progress in technology?
I think it's been interesting to see how it's shown across the industry in many different films. I was actually, when you asked me this question, I was asking my dear friend Claude, and he brought in like what was it, like Space Odyssey from 1968,
yes.
and then I got like Ex Machina from 2015, and I was like, we talked about WALL-E as well, and then Big Hero, which is like a very cute movie.
Big Hero
so
6.
like, and all of them have like different perspectives on like how technology is changing and like how that impacts how humans interact with it as well, right? Like, so I think it's an interesting point to analyze, but I will go with WALL-E because we were having that conversation, right? Nice. And like how, and more of a, maybe not on a very positive note, but more on like on a reflective note,
right?
On like what can happen to our society if we let go, right? Like if we and I think that one point that maybe we were discussing on that movie is like the point around creativity. Right, the point about like that human innovation and I feel like the human population in the movie kind of like just was going through the emotions, right? Just was going through the emotions.
Human than the humans
themselves, right?
He's got more character than them,
and that I think is like how do we make at all these points? Technology has been there to like amplify human capability, right? And that's the thing that we should all kind of ground on and not fall into the humans at WALL-E.
I mean, an excellent note and reflective note to end the conversation. So, Yina, it's always a pleasure. Thanks so much for making time for us again.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure.
And we're right at the end of it, but enjoy the rest of Ignite.
Thanks.
All right, we're on the home straight.
That's it.
That's it.
This is
got through another one.
Well, I'm not sure. Got through. It wasn't unscathed for me. It's been a week of calamity.
So, a couple of pairs of trousers down.
That's how it is. Without the context, that just sounds bad. But okay.
Yeah. Do you think you got through with your credibility intact?
No. I didn't. I've been fooled by a mirror. I misidentified a massive landmark. I've thrown beef juice everywhere. I've thrown red wine everywhere.
And then nearly killed yourself.
I nearly killed myself crossing the road. I mean, it's been eventful.
It has been a week.
It's like, I think for the listeners, Dave always tries to get me to do silly things so that he can use it on the pod. This week, it's been just like,
I didn't have to exaggerate a single thing. Those things actually happened.
And my question is this the real Rob?
Oh, I think. Well, I don't know. Rob, you
after
give us a view
all
on
the
that.
years, we finally see the real Rob.
What? Calamity Rob.
Clumsy.
Out of control.
No, authentic.
No coordination.
Authentic Rob.
Authentic.
Maybe. But I do feel like I've been up against it this week for all the wrong reasons.
You have been battling. And we've been having things like early night. You know what the lesson is?
What?
Don't do early nights.
I'm not sure.
I think that's the takeaway, isn't it?
I think just be better coordinated and maybe a bit more informed about your landmarks and check for mirrors. I don't know, maybe. There's a few life lessons here.
Please let Marcel and I know when you've landed. What? Please let us know when you've landed safe because you are on the same flight.
I mean, I'm regretting being on the same flight now. I'm not going to lie.
What am I going to do if you're in the chair next to me and I order dinner? You're going to be on 10 Turks, aren't you?
Might have to get moved. I think I'm on a different floor of the airliner, thank God.
I see a sort of scenario that he's stuck in the toilet for 9 hours.
Okay, that would be good. That would be good.
The door is blocked.
Just like the perfect end to the perfect way. But in all of that, it's been quite a good week. I've had fun. We've had some great guests, but yeah.
We'll come on to who we've talked to and what we've learned in a sec. But Ez, how's your week been?
I loved it. I love the atmosphere. I love the fact that it's not as crowded as what we had in Vegas.
Yeah.
Because that was my first show experience, actually.
Yeah,
so
right.
this is a bit more calm.
Do you know what's better here? They actually provide an adequate amount of seating. And for me, goes down good conference because you can find somewhere to sit and just relax.
Is that the...
That's a bar. That's my bar. Is there somewhere to sit down? Yes.
How are the
great.
lunches?
They're actually very nice. Snickerdoodle. I've discovered it from lunch.
Yeah, it's your big
there you go.
takeaway, isn't it?
Big takeaway, the guacamole story and snickerdoodles. But anyway,
He just so confuses me with the way he pronounces the word schnickeldoodle. Like it's like from Austria or something, but it's snickerdoodle. It's like very American.
Maybe I'm just, I don't know, work too much with
Pull yourself together, Rob.
I work with the Europeans a lot, David.
Oh,
maybe I've picked up their...
So is this your international...
This is my international
man of mystery?
Yeah, and it was my first time living together with you because normally the last time we were in hotels.
How did the Airbnb thing work for you?
Yeah, good, I think. Yeah,
Quite
it's
fun,
like
isn't it?
living together with 3 older brothers.
Yes.
And I already got one, so...
Yeah, I must admit, if we're your older brothers, you have lucked out on your family.
I really felt sorry this morning for her. She was sending a text message at 6:30.
Yeah.
Can somebody open the door? It's locked.
Yeah, for the listeners, I have a studio
Esmee
down in
slept
the
in
house.
the car.
So
We're making it sleep in the car.
You
It's
wish.
initiation.
Maybe I can get my yoga there nice and quiet.
Yeah, in peace.
No, with limited yoga abuse. I think that's the bar. Yeah.
Yeah, so Esmee was sleeping in like an annex, like a private annex, and had to come and
She has standards.
Join us in the kitchen for breakfast and a coffee before we came in to do a bit
If
of
you
planning.
can get in, yeah.
Yes, and you couldn't get in, could you? Did you have to give up and go back to the
No,
annex?
you were doing other things, right, at that moment?
I was otherwise engaged, Esmee. I'm not sure what the others were doing.
I was the one. No, I got. You were in the. You were in the house when I appeared.
Marcel opened the door for me.
Who put the security lock on though that
I
stopped
did.
you from getting in? Why
I
did
did.
you exclude her? Why did you feel
It's
the
not an
need to?
exclusionary thing for Esmee.
Safety was it? You scared?
Yes. The lock on the door didn't work, right, for the first couple of days of the week.
That was a bit of an issue.
We don't. I mean, you know, our let's say we're at reasonable level Airbnb, and the lock wasn't working quite right. So yeah, I put the little security thing. I always do that on a night.
He's the closest also, right? So if there's someone coming in...
You have to go through chappers
It's just
first.
likely straight down into my abode. And this kind of veiled criticism is coming from somebody who locked their bedroom door.
Marcel's just across the way.
Yeah.
You got to protect it. It's the threats from within, not from outside.
I think we'll let the listeners be the judge of who's the weirder. So yeah, good set of like onto the business of the thing. A really good set of conversations.
Yeah,
it was like
very good.
Coming just like to draw the curtain back a little bit. It was a difficult set of conversations to get fluid.
Thanks to
this
Dennis
time
for
around.
arranging them all as well.
Dennis,
Big shout out
an
to Dennis.
absolutely
Shout out.
amazing job to get some of these
Amazing job.
very, very busy, kind of senior leaders in Microsoft who are right at the heart of the development and the thinking of some of the stuff that's going on in the industry. So, Rob, give us a quick run through. What are the big stuff that stands out?
So, first episode with Rob Cromwell, head engineer over the top of 365, gave us a really good view of Copilot, where it was going, its development, talked about models and context and making it better assistance. That was a really good chatter. Then we went on to Jonathan Hunt and talked about how businesses are actually applying this technology and all the enablement from this show. There's loads of things about facilitation of the implementation of agentic. So we went through that. It was a good episode. Then we discussed it with Rob Lefferts around security. I know that was a good one for you, Dave. You enjoyed that. You always enjoy your little CISO background connect that goes on there. So that was
Rob. Yes,
fun for you.
That's good stuff. Brought back memories.
And
Also, it gives me sort of it gives me the fear in terms of doing that job today. Like it is got to be one of the more challenging jobs in our industry. I think maybe insecurity in the world. It's amazingly difficult and talented bunch of individuals working in that industry. They are.
Are you just bigging up your persona? I mean, this feels like your ego just bigging itself up.
I'm trying to just shine a light on my CV.
Moving swiftly on, we then spoke to John Link around discovery and the changing in R&D and all the stuff that's going on there. Touched a bit on quantum and the SDK, which is quite cool. And the thing you've talked about, you brought up, which is they were started on quantum and then said, hey, we can go do this instead. And then when quantum arrives, we can plug it back in. So really sort of radical thinking about how we can change that world.
It's an interesting route into the development of a truly new AI native product. On the back of trying to think about an exploit for quantum. Like, really interesting. And
the man really knows his tiki bars, and we're fond of a tiki bar.
I mean, he really does.
Top tip. What I loved was we went to his top tip, and then he was there. It was
so good.
It was cool.
It was like we were literally... Marcel and I had got there a little bit later. The rest of the team were already there. Marcel and I had stayed behind to do some work.
Oh, yeah.
That one time.
Somebody has to do it there.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't let Marcel do the edit by himself, Robert.
Well, we've learned.
We all know what happened to that, don't we, Esmee?
Yes.
Anyway, so we get to the bar, and we stood in like a bit of a queue, and all of a sudden we realised it's like,
the guest.
So we had a bit of a chat with John, and he not only is he... very much like knowledgeable in his field, but he's very knowledgeable, as you say, about the world of tiki. And where we were was like the sort of the
birthplace.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, what is it called? Like patient zero. I don't mean patient zero. What do I mean? When it's like the epicenter of the culture of tiki.
I would just say the first.
Well,
that's not the ignition point.
That's not painting glorious pictures with words.
The ignition of tiki. Yeah. Hey, maybe that could be what we could call a tiki bar. Ignition of tiki.
Yes. Anyway, get cracking.
And then we spoke to Alistair, who is literally building the cloud and making it all happen. It was a fascinating conversation about the sort of world of having to build
the civil engineering of the cloud.
Yeah, civil engineering, the collaboration required just to get to that prompt that allows you to go do stuff.
Yeah.
It was cool. And then Yina, talking about responsibility, empowerment, innovation, also a good conversation. So what we saw through all those was a great diversity, but there's this theme running through, which is allowing people to get on with what's important and removing the toil and making it easy to implement, etc. So there's this sophistication rising, use that word a few times, around the how you get to the result that you want.
Yeah, you're right. It didn't feel like, from an announcement's point of view, that we'd had a massive step change moment. However, I think the deepening of it, whether it be in Agent 365 and the sort of the management of agents, which they reckon are going to go to like over 1 billion agents in the next few years, all that's going to need managed. So how do you manage that? What's the deepening of our security philosophy around it? How we think about that, this notion of new attack vectors and double agents and having to think about things differently. And then you're right, all the way through to the physicality of the underlying cloud and the need to create new sub-second networks that can deal with the massive processing power that's going to be required. Milliseconds, yeah. Well, it's still sub-second, isn't it?
Well, technically, yeah. I mean, there's quite a big difference.
You're just trying to make it more sub-second than the point I made about it being sub-second.
1,000 times better. Yeah, literally.
But yeah, so what are the big things for you as what stood out from your
I think two things in general, but that's the passion the guests talk about their profession. I love that they know their stuff, and obviously that's what we do with the guests that come in. But there's so much smiles coming with those conversations, but especially also about the examples of making it real. And I think that's the second part that stood out for me is you see that there's an evolution going on. Like AI was first, it felt very abstract and it's coming, but now we're already at the stage that we know the examples because you see the speed of adoption and what can it do and what can it not. And that's something that I really love because it helps us wrap our heads around it. Like, what is it? Are we going to a world where it is intuitive and maybe have a consciousness? I think we're now better able to grasp it. So is it or is it not?
Yes.
So yeah, I love that. It's thought-provoking, I think.
It is. It is certainly one of the, I think, if you think about all of the challenges that technology has had sort of up until the last couple of years, we've thought about technology as tool set. And yes, it's transformed our lives. Yes, it's made the world a lot smaller. Yes, it's done a lot of these things, but very physical, quite understandable, and from the point of view of technology as tool set. This notion of artificial intelligence opens up a bigger set of questions, it feels like, for us as a society and humans, and how you hold the current AI tool set that we have, whether you hold it as a tool set or whether you hold it as some sort of emerging intelligence, I think is a really interesting question. I think it's a question we're going to return to on the show in the future, because I think how we frame that as a society, talk about it with each other, and leverage it, to me feels like it's going to have a material impact on human development.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, it actually helps to see it more as a tool. And I think the conversations of this week helped doing that, which for me also feels like you're more in control. So you're the one deciding what you want to do with it.
Right.
And that is also comfortable.
Have you ever thought dystopian future thing?
Not like
it's already out there and it's listening and it's learning and it's working out. That's it. So the event's already happened. So whatever 0 day was for this, it's gone on, and
Well, it's a kind of assumption that the technology course we're on is the right technology course to get to a day 0, kind of point of illumination.
Yeah.
Question mark.
No.
Cliffhanger.
You'll never know. Well, you might know.
Cliffhanger. We might find out. Big threads. Any other big threads for you?
There was a few around. A lot. I think a thread for me was choice. So with agentic comes a complexity with understanding which class of problem you're going to solve, how you implement it, the best way to control it. Lots and lots of capability built into the platforms to give you that choice, which is good. And also Sora 2. I quite like the Sora 2 and the sort of Claude Anthropic integration. So mixed ecosystem coming in, because obviously very big technology organization appreciating that other technology organizations have an edge in particular areas, and they're integrating because it's the right thing to do for us as the users, consumers.
Philosophy,
nice open philosophy.
Yes, the non-closed system philosophy,
which I've always enjoyed.
Best model for the best product.
That's why Android is better than Apple.
I was about to say to Esmee, there are advantages to closed systems, though, right?
There isn't.
Yes, love it with my headphones, if that's what you're talking about. Yeah.
So what could be the downside, do you think, of the open system approach to product building on the top of models?
Yeah, well, it all starts, I think, with what intent do you have with things? And that's also something that was a threat for me. Usually agile, or the way it's working, was also quite dominant. The same as what we were talking about, like cloud was everywhere. It was all over the place, and we were talking about agile a lot. But I actually hear people talk about it without calling it agile. So we're talking about flexibility. You have to adjust, not a one size fits all. We're doing feedback loops with user feedback, building Copilot.
Yeah.
So it's all these 12 principles of agile, but they're now integrated in everything that we do.
There's a big debate going on about agile, and if the orchestration of agents actually gets us to like 10x, 15x, 20x productivity, agile can't cope with the speed, and it needs to be adapted to be able to work in the environment we might create with the technology.
What would you call that, Rob?
What's more than agile?
Milli-agile?
No, you got to go what's like beyond. So you had waterfall, you went to agile.
Ultra.
Just call it ultra.
Yeah.
Ultra. Yeah, there you go. Ultra's the new one. We all have to learn ultra now.
Trademark. Cloud Realities Productions.
Ultra.
Keep that. We create that methodology.
For me, it's like really becoming agile before we start using another word and not get there at all.
Yeah, well, there's still a lot of organizations that aren't agile. That's a good point.
I admire your optimism.
You see, you'll have wagile, agile. Have you heard of wagile? Which is where agile
Where are you going with that?
is corrupted, and it's still waterfall, but they've done all the agile processes.
Agifall, yeah.
Agifall.
Yeah, Agifall. Yeah.
Dave, I think we should start the Ultra Corporation.
I think you too.
And then come up with a new philosophy.
How do you actually
make something up, write a book, say it's better and faster and more adaptive than agile.
Everybody buys it.
You're pretty decent at frameworks. Knock up a framework.
How are you doing this? I was actually taking a positive point, like this is agile all the way through. It's integrated, and now we end up in that's gonna
we're brainstorming.
It is like this is it. We're just the start realization that everybody needs Ultra, and this is the moment they'll realize that Ultra started.
I mean, I think
we're solving IT issues.
You're flying back today, right? So it's gonna
I think
solve
we've driven
a lot.
each other mad. I think that's what's happened. So I think to summarize the situation, I think a very calm and controlled atmosphere and environment within which nuanced products, consideration of scale, consideration of like the open system approach to doing this. So it's so interesting. Not like, oh my God, I was rocked back on my heels by the brand new, but much more like there was a realization of the geopolitics of the world, how the physical layer represents that, and then all the way up to the top of the most sophisticated.
You had I mean, it's a classic. You had the LLM shock 18 months, 2 years ago. Everybody rushes, loads of massive announcements, and now this is the maturity and sophistication catching up, which is a natural cycle, isn't it? Consolidation and reality bites.
Now, the other thing we've done this week, we've asked all our guests about how the world of facts and fiction around our industry, tech and science fiction and things like that are all sort of coming together. Like we're seeing on the show floor stuff that was in movies 5-10 years ago. So we've asked them all to reflect on the movies, and we've heard Her about the interface. We've heard Terminator about how you may or may not avoid Rob's favourite dystopian futures.
Wouldn't say it's my favourite, just the reality.
The glass is half empty.
Glass doesn't have any water in it.
Yeah, we've heard about the Matrix, but not the simulation bit, the actual downloading of all things. But one thing we haven't talked about is hours. So why don't you kick us off? What is your reflection of society in movies, either good or bad?
So for me, it's Ex Machina.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
And Ava that is presented there.
Tremendous choice.
Yeah, because she actually exposes a pattern that's been with us for centuries. Like female robots are almost always designed to be obedient, beautiful, controllable, until they aren't.
And you raised the point around the femalification, if that's a word, of AI agents and things like that.
Yeah, because I think those stories shape our unconscious biases about intelligence and agency and how women are perceived in that.
Right.
So it's quite interesting if you look at all those movies and how women are perceived. So I don't think it's the robot that's the problem, but it's actually showing the system that the robot is part of.
Right.
So if you look from that perspective, it's fascinating how women are projected. Actually,
it's a great take, because it's the issue you bring up is visible in the film, I think, more subtextually. If I remember it rightly. I haven't seen Ex Machina for a while, but my memory of it is that it's more of a subtext. But you're right, that it is absolutely visible in how AI is being personified today, including, where there's some sort of hokey pseudo person that's on a screen talking to you, generally is female, right?
Yeah, it's with Eliza that Scott also mentioned, the psychologist, one of the first chatbots that was out there, also a female. So it's fascinating how they're projected. And it's the same with kitchen equipment and using technology in that. It was to uplift the productivity of women at house, doing household.
Right.
So that's where technology evolution was part of. It was really to game up the productivity of a woman. So that's also fascinating, huh? Yeah. Loads to unpack there. But
amazing perspective.
Ex Machina.
That's a whole other series. I think what you've brought up there. It's good,
could be.
Great stuff. Great stuff. And a great movie.
Absolutely.
I like Alex Garland quite a bit. Quite a bit. Robert, what was your choice? Follow that. Good luck.
I'm just going to put a warning in, as that was deep.
Yeah.
Philosophical in nature. Mine's just raging against people who don't understand how computers work.
Right. Is it going to be the net with Sandra Bullock?
It is. It is. I'll tell you why. There's a scene in that film. I mean, the whole film's a farce on how computing worked, especially at the time it's filmed. She walks into an internet cafe. Do you remember those? They used to exist before we all walked around with internet
experience.
Right?
That is a crazy idea, isn't it?
Yeah, it's still a crazy idea when we go somewhere to access the internet. And she literally logs in somewhere. So first off, she remembered her login prompt, Dave.
Yeah,
which is unrealistic, especially with you in our world.
Was it like, SABULL0129?
Yeah, something like that. And then she just brings up that I think it's the Pentagon's website where you can just access in, and then she just types in a thing and she hacks it and gets access to like critical national infrastructure.
Is what annoys you here, like, that you think that's an unrealistic representation of hacking, or
it's not?
Is what annoys you is like that the Sandra Bullock character is really excellent and better than you at hacking?
No. So if this was the Louvre, if it was the Louvre and the farce that was the password they had on their security system.
I mean, you just proved the net being right.
I'm going to say Pentagon.
You have literally just come full circle on your argument. You realise that. It is that easy.
But I'm going to say hacking into that sort of system's a little bit more common. And it was just the trivialization of all the security and everything and the hard work everybody does. They're just smashed aside. And
password is probably Pentagon 01 with like a capital P.
You know they're going to come running and drag you off now, and they're going to
because I've accidentally exposed the right password.
But it's that just that computers work like that, and it's ubiquitous connectivity everywhere. It's easy to get in. There's no just everything was just wrong about the way it was represented. Yes. So that's my bad.
So that's bad side of it.
And then my parents watch it, and then they think, "Oh, it's dead easy, Rob, isn't it? And all that stuff you do. Keep going on about how difficult it is." And you're like, "Well, it's not really, is it?" Seems like Sandra has a better grasp than you.
That's the real reason why
I'm just jealous.
There we go.
I thought that's been visible all week, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah, it's just this. I don't know. Double click on yes. I've hacked into the most secure system on the planet. Okay. Anyway, David, you often keep yourself. You've been very quiet on this theme this week.
Yes, I have.
And of course, this is the moment where we turn the table, shine the light on you, and this better be deep, impactful, and profound.
I think I've got the peak one. But I'm slightly annoyed at you.
Why?
Because you actually touched on it.
Did I?
In a conversation the other day.
Did I?
And it actually really annoyed me. Like I turned my head to one side and thought, I'm not gonna mention it. I mean, that would have been a good edit, Marcel, to have taken Rob's reference of 2001: A Space Odyssey out.
Oh, Hal.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal. I mean, what, 1965, something like that, in terms of the process of designing that film and the interaction with, telecommunications technology, video conferencing.
Starts with the tool and the bone, the pen, and then HAL, and it progresses with what is the nice iconography in it.
The evolution of man to its end point, but also, of course, the introduction of artificial intelligence and its disruptive impact. And its impact on humans in the microcosm of the spaceship, but you could extrapolate that to broader impact.
But that's an anthropomorphized AI, and you don't believe in anthropomorphization of AI.
That is true. I don't.
So you've kind of
Well, they do. So let's explore that. I mean, you could explore 2001 from many different angles, which is why I think it's peak. But I'm brackets also a massive Stanley Kubrick fan, so I would think that. They call it HAL 2000, and it's got a voice. They don't anthropomorphize beyond that. They just use a voice interface with it. So you don't see HAL as a human representative, either male or female. It's just like a red light, They don't refer to HAL in any kind of gendery way.
What we talked about with Scott, right? ChatGPT. So we're taking off the women part or men part and don't give it a name. So taking away everything that's
right. And you enter into a series of prompts with HAL, like HAL controlled the ship and HAL took the toil away that allowed the astronauts to do things. Of course, it went terribly wrong. HAL was untrustworthy.
Well, it became malevolent even.
Correct. So you needed a bit more, kind of maybe a little bit more ethical development of HAL.
The difference is, though, HAL is perceived as being conscious because it starts to take action outside the parameters.
That's correct.
Stops obeying instructions.
Well, he is interfered with from Earth, right?
Yeah.
Because he perverts the course of the ship because they want the ship to go in a different direction, if I remember it rightly. Is that correct?
He's disagreeing with the crew. There's a human to computer thing there, which would suggest it's more than just a simple thing.
Well, HAL is maybe not on the... You don't get to HAL maybe from where we are today, I think is interesting. And Ez mentioned a conversation we've had with a guy called Scott. Bit of a spoiler, but in a couple of weeks' time, we're going to put that episode out, which we recorded here at Ignite, and it's a real cracker. And we get into some of the conversation around this stuff. So anyway, that was my one.
I'm glad I spoilt it for you. Makes me happy inside.
And to wrap us up, we often, when we're on these trips, take the opportunity outside of the day job stuff that we do, as well as the show, to just try and do some interesting things around town. And that generally means that we've only got time for dinner, so we do stuff at dinner. We have been lucky enough to go to 3 really good places this week. I'm going to ask for personal rankings. So who would like to start? Marcel, why don't you start? Personal rankings of the restaurants this week. I've just woken up, Marcel, to... you all right over there?
I'm all right. I had to do some work. Somebody has to do it. The House of Prime Rib was really, really amazing. So
your top rank?
Yeah, that was probably the best steak I'd ever had. It was...
Ooh,
yeah,
that's quite the accolade,
that was... Yeah, and for the price...
Who said we were doing superlatives?
What do you mean?
We're in superlative mode.
Superlative mode.
Best steak you've ever had?
Yeah. It's not the best steak you've had. Come on, it was good. It was very good. It was also my high up there, but
I know.
Like,
I'm going to say I'm sort of... I don't know whether it was the best one I've ever had. It was top 10.
Good. Yeah.
It was top 10.
The experience made it.
So I have only short memory, so I don't know how a steak was 10 years ago or 20 years ago, but I can remember this was a really, really, really good one.
This was definitely this week's best steak.
This year.
It's the only steak we've had this week.
Yeah. Ez?
The burrito.
Yes.
Oh, that was good.
It was
La
so
Taqueria.
good. Yeah, La Taqueria. And it's the atmosphere. It's just a small place. You feel that everyone loves it. Feels close to home, as in you're part of a community when you step in. And it was really, really good.
Yeah. And it had a mariachi band.
Yes. So that...
Shiny shoes and a bad
on.
trumpeter. Is that a word? Trumpeter? Have I just made something up?
No, that's a word.
Trumpeter.
Yeah.
I thought it was absolutely outstanding. I would say that I'm with you. That was my highlight of the week.
Yeah.
Food-wise.
What
was yours, Robert?
That's a very good question. I'm going to go with prime rib. It was very good. I like the experience, the salad spinning, everything, the theatre of it. I wouldn't say it was the best steak I've ever had. It's pretty good. I go that, and you should go. It is fantastic. But I think that was more a restaurant based on its experience, as opposed to the...
And the House of Prime Rib have been there since 1945.
Yeah.
Very well established. A bit threadbare, but in a very charming way.
Yeah.
Highly recommend it. And yeah, the La Taqueria, which has also been there for ages. I don't actually know when it was established, but I mean, just the most absolutely delicious burrito you've ever had in your life.
At first we said, in the neon sign, it says the best of the world.
It does.
And then once we ate it, we were like, yeah,
it might be true.
I mean, if there is a better burrito in the world, 1, I've not had one, and 2, I would absolutely love to try it. So on that note, should we go home?
Yeah, let's do it.
If you would like to discuss any of the issues on this week's show and how they might impact you and your business, please get in touch with us at cloudrealities@capgemini.com. We're all on LinkedIn and on Substack, so we'd love to hear from you. Feel free to connect in DM if you have any questions for the show to tackle. And of course, please rate and subscribe to our podcast. It really helps us improve. A huge thanks to all our guests, Rob, Jonathan, Rob, John, Yin, and Alistair. Our sound and editing wizards Ben and Louis, our producer Marcel, and of course to all our listeners. See you in another reality next week.